That was Perry Grip with the Audio Mullet theme song. I'm Doug Tenaple. I'm here with my buddy Ethan Nicole.
How's it going, Doug? I'm just cracking open a beer and getting out a cigar because I've been doing housework, changing rooms around, and I'm tired and I'm covered in paint and I'm in pain.
Staying at home from work is a lot of work.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not. Everybody else in my family is like their lives have changed. My life hasn't changed almost at all.
Yeah, me too.
They're all in like, they're in like we're stuck in the house mode, so they want to do all this remodeling and painting and moving all the rooms around and all that stuff. They're kind of pacing around,
going crazy, and we're all
and I'm like, wait, I can't just stop doing what I've been doing. But anyway, so I've been painting like the last couple of days. We're switching everybody around. And it's all chaos, like furniture all over our house. We tried to get Calvin, who's been sleeping in a crib for 2 years, to switch to a normal bed last night, and it was a complete nightmare.
Oh, good.
He just had a complete
you just got to
meltdown into the night.
Take that crib in the backyard and break it with an axe.
That's what I wanted to do. Those are my little words to my wife. I'm like, so now that we know we're not having another little one, can I burn this thing? Like, just beat the crap. Like, I just want to tear it apart. I don't want to carefully take it apart to get out of the room because I've built it and put it together enough times that I just hate it.
Yeah, ask Calvin to help.
My car seats too. I can't wait to like melt the car seats and pee on their ashes.
The car seats are the grossest. Talk about a virus cesspool. Those things are the dirtiest, grossest things.
I'm lighting a cigar right now. If you hear that sound, the torch. Okay,
and you got to carry those car seats that are 8,000 pounds around. When we had 4 kids and 2 were. At one point, we had 3 in car seats because they make you stay with them, stay in them forever. Like California law, like get to stay in them till like you're 12 or something stupid. Like your kid's growing a mustache and you're sitting in a car seat,
facing away from you, so you can't even see them. It's like, why am I? What am I? Am I in a prison? What is this thing I'm in? Where did my parents go?
Thanks, Bernie. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a cool show. This is from quarantine, and we're all locked down. We're drinking our own urine. And did you have home church today?
We did. We were in such like disarray today because Calvin, the night and all the furniture everywhere, the house is destroyed, and people were already like getting out paint when I got up this morning. So we're just we're getting the house back in order, I guess. We've never done home church. I would need to I have to really take charge to make that happen. And I should do it.
Yeah,
I really should do it.
But was it good? Was it an edifying message? Did you have fun?
Oh, we didn't do it.
Didn't do it?
We didn't. We're bad.
Pagan.
We just kind of picked up where we left off yesterday and like trying to get everything put back together.
Our church is doing full-on streaming services, and it was funny because the service was on mic while they were warming up, and they're all saying things they shouldn't be saying while broadcasting. They're like going, "Oh man, this is worded really bad." They're saying out loud. And then I was just waiting for the pastor to go to the bathroom with the mic on. Yeah. It would have been great. I once went to a church. This is how, the guys that run the soundboard are always they're the deviants of the church. They really are scumbags. Mm-hmm. And so at this one church, I won't name it, but it's in San Diego. The pastor would leave his mic on all the time and go back and pee. And the sound guys started a recording where they would record them all. And they had a tape of, this is like late 80s, I think, early 90s. They had like a tape, the best of him going to the bathroom. They're awesome. Just evil. It's always the soundboard guys, the lifers back there.
Oh, no. Yeah. I remember I did that a couple times when I was doing the Axe Cop documentary, and they constantly were putting this mic on me that was hooked to me. And I would completely forget that thing was on me. And then it was just the sound guy could still hear me because it was like remote. But I come out of the bathroom and he'd be giving me this look like I heard that.
Oh, no. That could have been bad if you went in the stall. Yeah. That could have been bad.
Did you ever see?
Well, they have YouTube videos of pastors going off screen and peeing, and you could hear them.
Yeah.
Over the service, over the mics. Oh, that is so good.
There's a documentary which I don't want to. This moment makes the whole documentary series. It's called The Jinx. You ever seen The Jinx?
No.
It's about this murderer guy, real weird rich guy who gets away with a few murders.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a huge spoiler. If you plan on seeing it, I really recommend seeing it without knowing this. So fast forward like 20 seconds or something.
Oh, don't be a spoiler, baby.
But I really want.
They'll enjoy
I got to tell
it.
you, this fits this. So at the very end of this documentary, he finishes his interview. It's pretty much like I already done, and so he walks out of the room, and you hear him, and you hear the producer guys going, "He didn't turn his mic off. His mic's still on." And you hear him peeing. And you hear him talking to himself. And he goes, of course I killed all of them. Like, he just starts talking to himself about how he killed them all. He does a full confession for the documentary crew right there.
And didn't that get him locked up? I thought you told me this story.
Didn't it? Yeah, it was amazing. He's just like one of those weird moments where the documentary wasn't going to be about that. It was going to be about how he got away with it. And then because he talks to himself while he pees, he confessed to the murders on tape.
And that was it. Mm-hmm. Go to jail. He's all, dang, why do I talk to myself so much?
That's like bad writing.
Yeah, if that was in a TV show, you wouldn't even believe it. You'd go, no one would ever do that. He deserved the jail time just for being that dumb. You don't want someone that dumb walking around in the streets.
Yeah, that's like bad exposition. You should go to jail just for that.
Yeah, just for that. So we did home church and we took home communion.
Oh,
home communion as part of home church. Great service, great music, and then a little sermon, and then we took communion along with the church. They were having communion at home, and then and you feel good because you connect with the people, even though you're all spread out in your own homes. And I go, this is kind of the way church is probably supposed to be. We're supposed to be meeting in our houses. Not these giant super churches with a big old screen.
Yeah, gotta do it. I have no good reports on that. Our church did put out that I think it would be entertaining to see what they came up with, because I'm from a really small church. I'm curious what they came up with for their online, because they did something.
Yeah, they got it. The church should be streaming anyways. We should be streaming Bible studies. And then ours has a Facebook page. So they're all like, okay, it's meet and greet time. So text your friends, text them, the people you sit around, and leave messages on Facebook. And we did. We texted, this family that we hang with all the time and just said, hey, brother, how you doing? It was funny. It was like a robo church. It was a thin robo church. It was awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just think when the insect hive mind state comes after the church, first thing they'll do, they'll cancel the 501c3 status. They won't be charities. They won't be a nonprofit. They'll lose that. That'll drive them out of a lot of buildings. And then flat out, when we just get driven underground, because when the next Democrat, packs the court, it'll be over. It'll be a hate group meeting.
I've been thinking it was over for a long time, and it's a weird thing about it. Now it just seems like, when you look back over American history, it just keeps swaying. I keep thinking it's going to be over. It probably will be. I mean, that's kind of the direction that the Bible says it's going to go. So,
yeah.
I mean, even now,
we're the remnant.
It is
we're the
true.
remnant.
Yeah.
Don't fear. There's no fear.
No fear. And it is true that, like, in my lifetime, I think that the amount of people that actually attend church, and even people who call themselves Christians, has really gone down.
Yeah, that's true.
We're way weirder. We're way weirder than we were when we started out.
Yeah, you could actually be a normal person and go to church, and now it's like you're making a statement just by sticking around in this, most hated group. Especially where you're at in LA and working in the arts and stuff. That's just you're a unicorn.
Yeah. Yeah, they all think you're going to be like that guy from Third Rock, Stewie or whatever his name is. I can't remember his name is. Blonde haired something or other. The Christian.
I thought Stewie was Family Guy.
Probably. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Third Rock or Ned Flanders guy.
He's kind of he's an intern, and he's like from some small town, and he's kind of the ignorant Christian guy who's super nice, and they all like him, but he's also like super naive and super religious.
Whereas you're a Christian and I'm a Christian and Mike Nelson's a Christian, and the Christians we know and all of our guy friends in the Chestertonians are no, we would never accuse each other of being a Ned Flanders. Yeah. We're the psychotic artists.
That's why we're so weird, and those are the people that I think we draw in with the podcast too, because I think it's a weird feeling. You feel a little bit like an outcast in both, either in the church and not really in the church as much, but I mean, or in the arts. It's like we don't fit
you
either
can't hang
very
out
well.
with like the Mennonites.
Yeah.
The Mennonites are too straight. I always feel that about just going around small town America, because I spend a lot of time in small town America. And small town America, they really aren't obsessed with every little thing going on in Hollywood, in culture, gossip and news. They're just unplugged. So they don't know who the hottest band is and what the new movie is and what the new Sonic trailer looks like and Pokemon and all that stuff, or Breaking Bad. They don't care that they don't know. So they seem really ignorant of culture, and it's because they spend their life doing real things.
Yeah. That's like, I mean, that's even just my wife. I mean, she's not even a small town. She's from a small town. She just has that, anytime I try to bring up something, she finds out about what's going on generally from our Babylon Bee podcast.
Yeah.
Like nobody that we interview.
Hey, did you see the new Joker movie? She's like, what Joker movie? Yeah. But then I also find the small town guys, they know all the infinite, down to the granularity of all sports teams.
Yeah, I don't know.
They look at me when they ask me about who's playing basketball, and I have no idea. They see me like the way we see them when you ask them about episode 4 in the, in the 3rd season of Breaking Bad, when the Game of Thrones finale. They're like, huh? But they're like, Walter Payton, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't even know who that is. But
who is that? It sounds like somebody.
Thing? It sounds like a somebody. I don't even know the context. So anyways, they, but being an independent comic artist or an animator or a video game guy, it's not like all of the Duck Dynasty Christians come piling in and support your work and go, yay, my Christian people. You don't get that support.
Right.
And then, of course, the world finds out that you're against X or Y and you don't get their support. Mm-hmm. So you just sit here in the mushy middle with no support, but other psycho Christians.
Yeah, other weirdos. We are the weirdos rocking our mullets.
Yeah. People. Or just lonely people. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm not implying you're a Christian. I would never insult you with that. You might just be lonely. Mm-hmm. We'll take you too.
Or you just have a morbid curiosity about weird people.
Or not even a morbid curiosity. Maybe you're just morbid.
Yeah.
Maybe so you have some mail.
Yeah, so some people actually took us up on sending us questions over audio.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm going to play you this.
Wait, business first. What are you doing with Babylon Bee?
I'm just putting the very finishing touches on our big, giant, sacred text book. It's a big coffee table book, so I'm just getting all the final little details wrapped up, and we're going to get it sent off to the printer hopefully over this week. So that's the main thing.
You're independently printing it?
Yeah, we're doing it through the Babylon Bee.
Babylon Bee Press.
Yeah, we don't have a publisher. We're self-publishing it.
Oh, cool. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Making dough the old-fashioned way.
Yep.
Have you guys thought of crowdfunding it?
Me and Kyle were pretty, on board with doing something like that. And Seth is, because he's like Mr. Moneybags, he feels like, I think he just kind of frowns on it because he has all this money to already fund it. So he makes it sound desperate, but I think there's a lot of advantages to crowdfunding because you kind of find out who can spend what and who wants what. It's like a nice way to maximize your profits, really, because you're going. These people want.
Have Seth give me a call and I'll talk to him about it.
I should.
I'd like to talk to him about that.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I should.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I'll consult. And then what about an Ollie possum? Are you moving those?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, they slowed down after Christmas quite a bit. I sold a few people that are looking for something to read in the quarantine times here. And it really is. If you guys have any curiosities, and it's a fun book, even if you're not a kid, if you like, an adventure. But and it does have a tie-in.
Morbid curiosity. And it does have a tie-in. I mean, I don't sell this often, but it has a tie-in to Bearmageddon. And my bear content, there's one of the biggest moments in the book has this whole bear thing, which I don't want to spoil, but so
it's
this
my
is the
favorite
Nicole
moment.
verse.
Yeah, it's the
Nicole
verse.
verse. Yeah. I like it.
I just don't want you to think it's super tame because I made it for kids. It's still got my weirdness.
Yeah, it's still got bears.
Yeah.
Bears that want to kill people. Sure.
I'll say that there's a chapter called Bear Explosion. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. You guys got to pick that up. Brave Ollie Possum. They can get it on Amazon or on your website.
Yep. If you get it from my website, so it costs a little more, but you're getting the limited edition, numbered, signed. I'll throw a bookmark in there. You can get it drawn in, stuff like that. If you just want the cheapest version with nothing added to it, just get it off Amazon.
Are you doing digital on that at all?
There is Kindle. Yeah.
Kindle.
I have no idea what the sales are on that on Kindle. And then I don't know what's with the audiobook. I did the audiobook way back when I put it out, and they haven't put it up yet. I don't know. I know that one of their strategies is to kind of stagger when these things come out. So I know that it'll give them some.
Yeah, because they reinforce each other. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Moving on. Phone stuff.
All right. So I'm going to play the first question for you. Don't talk over it, and then I'll.
Yeah. Do. Oh, wait. Bigfoot Bill 2 is on Indiegogo. Okay. Go ahead.
Hey, Doug, Ethan, Mike, Austin Robertson, longtime fan of the Babylon Bee, and really enjoying Audio Mullet as well. First of all, I do want to thank you. It's really encouraging to hear your conversations about being Christian in an industry where following Christ is often unpopular and can even be detrimental to success. So thank you for doing what you do and encouraging so many of us in your listening audience. My question has to do with priorities, mainly looking at a work and life balance. I have a family and I struggle to give both 100% at work and 100% at home. And I understand it's important. I do love what Colossians 3:23 says about working for the Lord, being excellent in whatever we do, even if it seems unimportant in the world's eyes. I would love to hear each of your takes on this concept, and in particular, how you are able to live out an appropriate balance in your work life and your home life. And I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. That was Mr. Austin.
That guy's got a voice for radio.
I know,
man.
He's got a way better voice than us, so it's weird.
He should come in and just take over, just run it.
Made us look bad.
This is a very common question that he has about balancing work and life.
In fact, I want to say we may have answered something similar at some point. Maybe.
We've answered this many times, But each time that I hear it tells me there's a real crisis out there among those of us who are committed to family and committed to doing excellent at work, that there's a real problem with balancing those two. We're all experiencing that problem, right?
Yeah, and I think it's also really hard, I think, to I know it's been it's one of our biggest conflicts in my marriage has been figuring that out, like figuring out how do I part out my time. I do think it hasn't come up in a long time. I think we finally kind of figured it out, but it took a while, and it took us talking to other couples who have gone through similar stuff,
Sure.
But I don't know if you guys went through that, but
we do. It's a constant thing that comes up every once in a while. Usually I think it's very easy for guys to work too much. And I'm one of them. I'm a workaholic. And I would sit here at this desk, from the time I woke up till the time I go to bed. Sometimes I do working. Mm-hmm. So for me, the problem is never excellence at work. And that could be the problem with a lot of our callers too.
Yeah.
Is that they're probably doing really well at the excellent at work. And then they come home to family and it's all falling apart. They feel guilty. They're not doing enough. The wife's giving them the stink eye, rightly so, because we're disconnected from our family, and they all have their dream also of male leadership in the house, and they don't see a guy who just constantly seems to be gone. And even when you're present at the table, all men do is think about and scam about work. Mm-hmm. So I think, so I'm not an expert on managing this. I only know that in general, in the conflict with my family between work and family, is work usually wins. Mm. Now, there is a ridiculous version of that. And that's what I did in the 90s when I worked on Earthworm Jim and Neverhood was running my own company. And I was regularly working 14 to 16 hours at an office away from home. Mm-hmm. That including often Saturdays and Sundays, like just no time off. So that was a season, when I was, say, 27 to 30, in that range. Maybe my early 30s was before we had kids. Mm-hmm. And then came the kids, and that just really broke the work situation where I just couldn't do that anymore. And I realized my wife and I were very distant from each other and just almost like roommates in the same house. And, it just, you step back after a couple of years and you go, look, I'm not here just to grind out this stuff that's really going to be left on the ash heap of history. And the things that aren't going to be left in the ash heap of history is my family.
Yeah.
So it's best if that occurs to guys on their own, hey, I am neglecting my family.
Yeah.
And then you do something about it, rather than, I always feel like when my wife comes at me and goes like, hey, you think you might want to participate in the family every once in a while? When you get that, then it feels like an attack on my desire to be a provider. Because sometimes these scams take many, many hours and many, many days to pull off. And so instead, I don't want to be asked that. I want to find many times during the day, now that I work at home, and I can go out and visit my family.
Yeah.
Put my arm around my son. I kiss my daughters. I give Angie a big hug and tell her I love her, and sit down and try to engage her and say, what are you doing today? What are you up to? Mm-hmm. And make sure that I'm listening and that all of my thoughts are going to her for that period. Mm-hmm. Even if you did 15 minutes with each family member, that would be about an hour. That's more than most men dedicate to their families in quality time a day. Mm. It's 15 minutes a person for an hour. And they can feel filled up, like they've been listened to. You give them an opportunity to go back and forth. They sense your love. They see your guidance and all that. And we spend a lot of time just hanging around together, right, where it's not active. And I think they need to see me out in the living room.
Yeah.
If they're watching TV, sometimes I don't want to watch the TV show, but I'll sit there with them, because I want to be with them.
Yeah, I think it might be a little different dynamic with us because we have such young kids that just need so much of our time right now. So we really have to have shifts where we trade off, because that's how it is for us. Like, there's just times of time of the day. If Jess is with the kids too long, she'll just lose it.
Yeah.
So ours is a little more figured out. Like, and this is something I recommend for any couple. If your wife just keeps expressing that you're not around enough. I learned this from Allison Armstrong, the relationship expert.
On Dennis Prager.
Yeah, she's always on Dennis Prager.
Yeah, she's fantastic. What a man advocate she is.
Yeah, she really understands the way men's and women's minds work. She does a lot of work trying to understand the way men think, which a lot of women don't do. Because they tend to dismiss men as being, we both, the genders dismiss each other as being irrational.
Yeah.
So just
because we're from different planets.
Yeah. Ask your wife, if you could have it all your way, how often would I be part of the family? How often would I be not working and here? And that was kind of what started us off on doing this. When I just asked Jess, like, just, you had it all your way. If you could just tell me what to do, what would I do? And I found that it was something I could do when she just outlined it like that, rather than always being this ambiguous, you're not around enough thing. It gave me an outline of, usually around 5 p.m. if I can be around then, through the time everybody goes to bed, every night. And then, And then I decided to always make Sundays family day, so I don't work at all on Sundays.
That's very good. Very good.
And then Saturdays, I generally don't, unless I have a project I'm really needing to work hard on, I usually just get about 4 to maybe 6 at the most hours of extra work time on Saturdays. So generally, I have around 8 or 9 to 5 every day during the week. And then night times, if I want to work at nighttime, I can. Otherwise, that's kind of my just man cave time as well. So that's pretty much that's how we have it worked out right now. Some of that could change when the kids aren't so young and I don't need to be in constantly in the house, but like
so it's a lot easier when you can leave a kid in the room and they don't set the house on fire.
or eat poison. Or something.
We have 4 kids and they're ages 12 to 18 now, so they're like functioning adults now, and so it's much easier.
Can't imagine.
But it was tougher when they were younger. And you're just kind of trying to keep them just from injuring themselves, and you're trying to helicopter them. We also had a nanny early on, and that really helped out a lot, because then suddenly mom isn't like changing every damn diaper. It's like that is a tedious part of the job. When you have 4 kids, we had 3 of them in diapers at once. It was just like, man, that was rough. And then another big thing that we do is, my sense is, it's the husband, and this is something I learned also from Prager, it's the husband and wife's job to take care of each other first. And so I think it's more of a temptation for women to take care of the kids before the husband than it is for the man to do that. But I think if you have to preserve a part of your family that must be foundationally working or the rest of it's for nothing, it is the husband and wife. Have to listen to each other and communicate. And something that Ange and I do is we have drink night where we'll just go out for drinks. So it's like a mini date. It's not dinner.
Yeah.
It can be dinner. You can order hors d'oeuvres or whatever, but the power date where you can really, it's just you two, we doll up a little bit, and go out. I'll wear my black shiny shoes and take her to a nice bar. And it really makes you feel like a couple again. And so that works. And the other thing that I do, not very often, but just when I think about it, I try to wash the dishes. It's easy. It does not bug me anymore. Once I started washing dishes, I really started digging it. And because it was work, it just made a lot of sense. Like, it always needs to be done. You can always go in and do some dishes. And because our kitchens are centrally located now, it's often also time that I can spend talking to the family or watching the TV show that they're watching while they do it. And then doing dishes always really makes the wife feel warm. Like, if you're in the doghouse, doing the dishes more frequently really helps dig your way out. It just brings them peace. That's an easy one.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a different relationship on dishes because I've pretty much from the beginning mostly done dishes and a lot of cooking.
Yeah. You're the dish man.
Like if I do
a lot of cooking. I do a lot of cooking already.
Yeah. So if I don't do dishes, it's more like hey, if they pile up, it's on me.
Yeah. I do almost every breakfast and then sometimes lunch. And the kids have been doing dinner with those little dinner green grocer things that come to your door. Oh. So they're learning how to cook doing that.
I got to get the kids cooking. Lily's 13.
Oh yeah, they have fun after a while, man. One of our kids, Olivia, started cooking so much she considered becoming a chef. She's wondering if that might be something she's interested in.
That's cool. So yeah, and make that time sacred, I think, is the main thing. Like, when you've decided what that window of time is going to be, just don't get your iPad out. Just don't try to sneak in some work. Just make that time about the family. And if you get an idea, you can write it down real quick, but save it for later. And,
you can never work enough.
Yeah.
You can never work enough. It's never ending because you can always make more money and get more security and have a better job standing. And it really is a BS thing. It's like playing Clash of Clans, where the better you do, they just ramp it up. They ramp up the opposition. They still come ruin your village every night. That's what working too much is like. So keep it in context. Your family, for guys, I think it's harder for us to devote that much time to family.
Yeah. Well, we're given life. We're re-energized by getting work done and accomplishing things. And doing family time doesn't feel like accomplishing things. It doesn't feed that. If anything, it saps it.
Right.
We're sapped by it.
There's not a family bank account where you look at the amount that you have and see when it goes down.
Yeah. So
but Ethan, we've also been working our ass off for 20 years, and it's not like, hooray, I achieved financial security.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's part of the thing with our line of work is like, you're always trying to find the next way to like scam people out of paying you money for this weird stuff you're doing.
like supporting Ollie Possum.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we fixed that. You got another one? We got another phone.
I gotta find it.
Phone thingy. I'll cover for you while you find it.
Okay. Do an advertisement for Purple Mattress or something.
Purple Mattress. Sometimes the mattress, it's so good, it has to be. We had to find a way to cover up the yellow pee, so we picked its complement, purple. The mattress is purple. Your pee is yellow. It's purple.
I'm about to paint my daughter's room purple.
Oh, that's going to be a disaster.
Yep. All right.
It's one of those things where kids think they want that color, and as soon as you're done with it, it is going to look like just a car wreck. It's going to be nothing's going to match.
Yeah. Well, it's an accent wall, so hopefully it works. We'll see.
Okay. Accent wall, good.
Okay, so this is from Daniel Adorno, and I have not listened to it yet, so I don't know what we're in for.
No, dear.
Looks like a nice guy.
Hey there, Mike, Doug, and Ethan. My name is Danny, and I'm from Minnesota. I recently discovered Audio Mullet after I listened to a Babylon Bee podcast where Mike was one of the guests, and just heard about this podcast, and it's been one of my favorite podcasts so far. I love the dialogue between you guys, and I'm a big fan of all of your work. Mike, I grew up watching Mystery Science Theater on Comedy Central in the 90s, and have followed your works and into riff tracks, and have quite a few Mystery Science Theater collections, and have had Mystery Science Theater parties with friends. So it's kind of cool to see that you are a fellow Christian, and that's awesome. Doug, I played Earthworm Jim a lot, and I love the artwork. I'm definitely checking out Bigfoot Bill now that I've kind of been turned on to it through the podcast. So awesome work there. And of course, Ethan, I've not read Axe Cop, but I'm interested now, and I've been a fan of Babylon Bee since Adam Ford was running it, and even more so now. All the work you guys do is awesome and hilarious, and I enjoy it a lot. But enough gushing about you guys. My question for you is something I've been mulling over and spoken with my wife about. Is I live in Minnesota, and Mike can attest to this. There is a sort of Minnesota nice thing that we are known for here, which isn't really Minnesota nice. It's more like passive aggressive. But one of the things that we've found as Christians living in this kind of culture of niceness is that sometimes you have friendships with fellow believers that kind of aren't really friendships. They don't really go very deep. And sometimes I'm wondering, if as Christians, should we be upfront about the expectations of a friendship? So, for instance, you have the usual meet somebody at church, and they kind of give you the, hey, we should get coffee sometime. And it never really amounts to anything, and every week you're just kind of doing this dance. And sometimes I've wondered, would it be better just to kind of upfront, and maybe this is too blunt, but just kind of say, we're never really going to be friends. Why are we doing this? Is that not Christ-like, or do you guys have any opinion about that kind of thing? Because for my own experiences, I see the friendships you three have, and I could tell you guys have really just what seems to me very honest, deep friendships, and that's something that I feel like is very much missing in the American church. Instead, we just kind of have these, I'm going to string you along kind of friendships, and that don't really go very deep. But anyway, it's kind of a long-winded question, but thanks, guys, and I enjoy everything you're doing, and I love Audio Mullet.
Okay, well, that was a great call. That warms my heart to hear a human being. I had no idea we had that effect on anyone.
Yeah, hey, you're welcome for getting all these new listeners.
Okay, so, yeah, I know Babylon B. Jeez.
It's because we had Mike on, and I got a chance to mention. I always feel like bad mentioning my podcast, Audio Mullet, on the Babylon B podcast. But if there's a natural way to do it, I'll throw it in there. So,
yeah, that's good. That's good, and we know Kyle's on board.
Yeah,
Kyle's cool. Everyone else hates us.
We'll have Kyle on again. We got to have Kyle on this podcast again.
Yeah, that'd be good. Anytime. So regarding that question, Ethan, how do you and Jess make deep friends at church? Do you have other couples that are like us? Do you have other people that you hang with where it's intimate and you love each other and you love spending time together?
That's the weird thing. I have not made that many friends like that at our church.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay. I was a little scared that I was like outing myself there.
Yeah, going like, you're antisocial? What's wrong? So it sounds like we all have the same problem with Daniel here, right? So
I've found them through our group, through Chestertonians. And I don't know if that, and through Babylon B, and the cigar shop. Found, the guys that I have met there we do Chestertonians now, our new little group, the cigar shop. And, that's where I find my real friends.
Yeah, because we're idiosyncratic. I find this is true a lot of meeting normal people. Like if some guy works in insurance and I'm like, and I tell him about what it's like to make a comic, and there just isn't just an instant understanding like you do when you meet a Christian friend in the arts or in writing or even at a cigar shop. Like you have this point of connection that is just different than with most people.
Yeah.
But it's funny because what Daniel talked about, we had some friends around us who sat with us at church for 4 years. Mm-hmm. And we always hugged each other during greet time. We always sat near each other. We adored each other's families. We really respected the way they carried each other. And we made that effort to reach out and just say, you know what, we have to get dinner. And we know we're not going to, because we've been talking about it for 2 years. So I told Angie, I go, Angie, we are going to have dinner with that couple. I'm like, we're going to set up a date that we can go. It's like Saturday night at this time or Sunday night at this time. We're going to buy you dinner and go out. Mm-hmm. And they finally did. And then they invited us over to a Christmas party 6 months later. And now it's been a couple years and we've gone out many times and we're trying to keep it frequent. We're both such workaholics and we have almost nothing in common, but we love each other and we can tell like we just kind of dig each other, we want to be closer. Other couples we've tried that with, it did not work out. Like just after a while, it just kind of fell apart. And these are great people. But I think that's the difference is with our Chestertonian group and with you and Mike is we always made time for each other. It always felt like a privilege to get to be together.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like,
I guess that's what a friendship is.
You feel like you're escaping to that. When you're trying to almost like trying to force a friendship with people, it's much more work. I don't know. Yeah.
So I don't believe in the preemptive cut them off.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good idea of saying, look, we're all fake and we're just going to cut this off now, because intimacy takes time and intimacy is rooted in trust and vulnerability. That is, you can't have love without vulnerability, where you roll over on your back and feel comfortable showing the weakness in your armor to someone else, and you can trust them and things like that. That takes time and earned trust. So it's not like going to a drive-through to create a lifelong friend. It's shopping and it's spending a lot of time finding the right kinds of people. And I always picked these guys because I loved their values so much that I wanted to be with their values. Mm-hmm. And so it's easier to find out what someone's values are just by going over a couple subjects. You can cut a lot of people out just with that.
Yeah.
And then when you find someone close to your values, you start making appointments, and there's a lot of chemistry. It's just like e-dating. It's like you have to find chemistry and all these things. But if you find someone who you really love and you feel like it is a great privilege to get to be with this person, you'll start making time. It gets easier and easier to make those appointments and have more fun together.
Yeah.
So they do exist. They are rare. And there's a reason why a lot more of my social time is spent here with Ethan on Audio Mullet and with Mike on shows and, just little calls out of the blue. I get more intimacy from them than from my day-to-day friends out here.
Yeah. And one of the biggest challenges when you're married is finding a couple where you're both enjoying the time with the other couple. Like a lot of times it's lopsided. Like, you might dig the guy, but your wife and the other wife don't get along so well, or the other way around.
Yeah. Finding
a couple that you both really hit it off with it almost seems like it's like ordained by God when it happens.
Yeah. And I think not involving the children is good unless they're the same age. Like, Mike,
if they all get along, it's great. That's even better. If your kids and their kids will go run off and play, it's the best.
That would be ideal.
That's the Agadonis for us.
Yeah. So like in our case, though, with you and I and Mike is farther along in life. His kids were always older than ours.
Yeah.
My kids were always older than yours. It'd be tough to have a couple over and them bringing toddlers over.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody likes you when you have toddlers.
Yeah. So you really have to hire the babysitter and jump out if you don't have people in the same kind of life station as you are. If you're married, then go find another couple and go tear it up with them.
Yeah. And I think having couple friends is good, but I think that the type of friendships he's talking about and that we are talking about here is like find your man time. I think that a lot of guys don't prioritize that. Like you need to find a group of guys who you can be yourself around.
There's lots of men whose wives I can't stand, and I'd never want to take them out on a date and hang with them.
Yeah, but they're your best friends.
There's lots of guys who I'd go have a cigar and a beer with all the time. And I need that for me. And then the second option is, do the wives get along?
Yeah.
Like, I don't like any of my wife's friends. I don't know. I wouldn't hang with them. It's not that I don't like them as people. It's just like, I think it's great that my wife has women that she can go to and hang with, and there's no pressure on me having to get along with their husbands.
I'd recommend, if any of you guys are cigar smokers, check out Holy Smokes. Look them up on, there's Facebook groups. They're all over the country. It's just a gathering of Christian guys get together and have cigars.
Yeah, I just saw one opening up here in Franklin where they're starting a Holy Smokes club, and they're going to start talking about smoking and Chesterton and all that. And I went to one and they canceled it, and then so I'm waiting for the next one to go up, and then I'm definitely going to we'll find some friends there.
Yeah,
definitely.
Depending where you're at, they're a lot more established, different places, but. You can kind of
any Christian man who smokes and drinks is already halfway there, halfway to third base with me.
Yeah, and then that's the other part of it too. Is when I don't know what it is about men, but I know for me, I have a tough time sitting there and investing time just getting to know somebody. But if I have a cigar in my hand, and I think it has something to do with the instinct that men have that you need to be getting something done. Yeah, I feel like I'm accomplishing this cigar, so at least I'm fulfilling that doing something. So it gives me permission to kind of sit there and just talk about whatever. And all my deepest conversations have always been with a cigar in my hand.
Yeah, and it's funny how with cigar shops too, there's always something to talk about, because the first thing they ask what's that you're smoking?
Yeah,
and you talk about the wrap and what you usually do, and they'll give you their rundowns of what's a good value and what's a good deal and what they love, and that's and the same thing with pipe smoking is everyone always has an opinion on it, which is good for a icebreaker, and cigar shops. Talk about a low entry for conversation. I mean, they will talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Unless the guy's typing in his laptop. But like usually guys are just sitting there looking around with a cigar and they're having fun and they're ready to talk. In fact, all the times we've been, strangers sitting across will just hold up their cigar. Hey, welcome. I'm like, this is the greatest place.
Yeah. Cigar shops are, they're generally the guys are very nice, but if you're new to cigars, it can be very threatening to try to go in there for the first time. You feel very out of place. You don't know what cigar to pick. You don't know how to light it. So I guess if enough...
ask the help.
Yeah,
ask the help for recommendation.
Don't be embarrassed, but if you guys ever want a cigar basics episode, if we get enough requests, maybe we can do that. You know, how to do your first cigar shop. We're like evangelizing cigars here. The people that are anti-tobacco are probably freaking out right now.
They're also anti-life, anti-man, and anti-human. We're here. We're hardcore. We're tobacco advocates. So, because there's so much warmth and love, it really is the last male fraternity where you could smoke indoors, often have a pint, and be with great men. It's also weird because I noticed if you go to a club and a dance floor in LA or something, and there's just like, it's all kids and just feels like just a popularity contest. You go to a cigar shop and there's just a fat old black guy sitting next to you and he'll just go, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah.
It's like you can be, or a redneck, a young redneck, with a Peterbilt hat on, and he'll just go, "Hey," and they're way more talky and way more about breaking down those cultural barriers that usually keep us apart. They don't exist in a cigar shop.
I do think that's a little more common out there. A lot of the cigar shops, because of the economy out here and the rules, are very small. And so everyone already has their assigned seats. So there can be a lot of smaller cigar shops. So that's also out here.
Assigned seats. That's no bueno.
Yeah, like you go in there and everybody kind of looks at you and you sit in the seat like, "Hey, that's Phil's seat."
Oh yeah, screw Phil. I'm Phil now. Phil, you're trading up.
It just doesn't. It's that's why it's a scary place for like an introvert beta like me, like to go in and try to sit in Phil's seat. I'm like, "Sorry, I'll sit in the corner. I'll stand in the corner.
I'll go rent my Ethan seat." And then now that's Ethan's seat. Get out of my seat, noob. Kook.
Yeah. And also, I mean, starting that Chesterton group, it felt weird at first when I kept trying to get everybody to get together to read Chesterton. That was the best thing I ever did. I mean, just to keep trying to get it done, and we did it, and it started something amazing.
You built it, and then we came.
But it's a great way to filter out people that want, if you want to come sit down and read Chesterton with a bunch of guys, it already says something about you. That you have a hunger for something that a lot of people don't. A lot of people kind of go, "What? Like, why would you want to do that?" So fine, and so it already kind of creates a filter. So pick something like that. Maybe do C.S. Lewis or
C.S. Lewis is much more common and just as good.
Yeah. Pick a book or an author or something and try to just get a few guys to do it. It'll tend to catch on if you tell other friends you're doing it, if you're really enjoying it. It's worth it.
Where two or more are gathered, all you need is two. Ethan and I did lots of those ourselves.
Yeah.
We would just hang and smoke all the time. You get 3, it's good. Then once you get 3, man, you're going up to 10 in no time.
Yeah, I mean, our group right now is just the other week. It was 2 guys. It was me and one other guy, but because no one else can make because of the coronavirus. But it's usually at the most around 5, maybe. I think our biggest day has been 6. But it's still just really enjoyable, and we're already getting new guys popping on. So,
yeah, a solid 5, 3 to 5.
Yeah,
is great.
Yeah, you don't need much more than that.
Yeah, and it just won't be as psycho as if you met with a bunch of guys playing D&D. It's just not the same. Getting that high literature up there is worth it, and smoking is always going to be better.
Definitely. All right. Well, it was cool. Cool answering some, getting some, it makes the people seem real. When
how do they send you a recording, Ethan, and send in a question?
You can just record it on your phone, make a file, and just attach it to your email to info@audiomullet.com. Send it to me.
And we'll put you on the air.
Yep. Yeah. Audio questions will get put to the front of the line because they're more interesting. But try to keep them short.
It was great hearing their voices.
Yeah.
I like hearing guys.
But we get a lot of email. I don't even know how to go through all of it now. That's the thing about our audience is they're hungry. We got a lot of thoughts. You got to
slam them into a document. Get a document going.
Okay. I could just set it up so that they forward to you too. So you just get them all. You want?
I don't want this crap.
Okay, I figured you didn't want it.
Of course not. I don't even read my own email. I'm terrible.
All right.
Okay, well, this has been, are we done?
Yeah, I think we're done. Phil's done.
This is episode-y.
Yeah.
Hey, I jogged 2 miles today.
Wow, good job.
I got up to 2 miles today. It was pretty easy, too.
I rearranged rooms and painted yesterday, so I'm all sore in my lower back because I never move.
Yeah, no, we got to get you moving, man. You got to move.
You need to move.
When the Lord gets ready, you got to move. And then I tried animating on Clip Studio Paint. Very frustrating today. Couldn't figure out the software. I was ready to animate and just tear into it and be set on fire. And then came the software. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that Clip Studio is a little complicated sometimes.
Do you use Toon Boom at all?
You know what I bought? I bought the actual software, the box.
Yeah.
It sat in my closet forever. I never installed it and I never used it.
That's me with all my software too. I'm going to get this tool. Yeah. It's going to cut me loose. And then supposedly the Toon Boom storyboard program has everything you need. Like you can import voices. You can do most of the animation anyways.
Adobe has a new Animate program too. It's just called Adobe Animate. And try that out if you have an Adobe account.
I do have an Adobe account.
Yeah, just go into all those apps and check out Animate.
Adobe Animate. I just want something where I can sit down and animate my tail off. Yeah. And the software is just like, here, cut off your pinky and insert it in the keyhole. And then I'm just like, what does that have to do with animation? Now I don't have a pinky.
Yeah, you should probably change programs if they're making you remove body parts.
Yeah, I hate them. All of them do. All of them do. I figure it's a joke that they're just sending me an email trying to get me to cut all my fingers off. I hate them.
Getting punked.
All right. Well, how are you? You ration out your toilet paper this week?
Yeah. Keep a 6-foot distance from everybody around you. And stay safe out there.
Are you for? Is it like immoral to ignore the coronavirus warnings? Because I'm like, screw this. This is stupid.
I do have thoughts.
They're just going to crash the economy, and
I am scared for the economy. Yeah,
I'm scared for the economy, and I don't know anybody who's died. So why am I sitting here just living? You can't conduct business. And I'm like, I think I'll go to the store.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I do have like a weird cynical side of me that wonders like how political is this? But I listened to a couple doctors that talked on podcasts that they weren't left leaning. So yeah, and they were just saying that the main thing. Did I lose you?
No, I heard a hiccup.
That was weird.
But yeah,
just that this strain that the corona, basically a common cold is a coronavirus. And so that's why it's different from the flu, because it's like a flu, but it passes along like the cold. So it like really, really, really jumps from person to person very rapidly. And I guess the main goal here is to keep it from passing along so rapidly that, that hospitals just become overburdened and then it becomes a complete emergency.
But this is like a Marxist virus.
It's getting scary, yes.
It destroyed the economy, and it got all of an entire nation to stop men from shaking hands.
Yeah, and stop going to church.
Everything that's great about manhood, it got us to stop. It's going to be like, to keep from getting this thing, you have to cut your testicles off. I just know it.
I imagine there's got to be some politicians that are loving this so much that they're like having secret potluck meetings where they're all having bat casserole. And passing it around, like, come on, we got to keep this thing going. This is great. Pass me the bats.
We got to infiltrate them with get the bats going. Screw these people. I don't know. We're quarantined and everything, but I'm just like, ugh.
I know.
It doesn't make sense. And the fallout from the economy is going to have a higher death count than the coronavirus. I just know it.
Yeah. Yeah. That does scare me. But it feels, and that's where I say the political side of it. It feels like making it this big of a deal does play into making Donald Trump look very bad. If they're trying to defeat him, it's a good strategy, and we know seems pretty obvious that's what the media wants to do. So that's where I start to get dubious about it. Like, I'm not even like a mega pro-Trump guy, but like, you know, you see this kind of stuff happening throughout his entire presidency. So I don't know. It makes me sound like I'm wearing my MAGA hat when I say that, but.
Yeah. And you know, if the virus blew up on Obama's watch, it would be like, isn't he so sympathetic the way he's saving us from this virus? Yeah. Isn't he amazing?
Yeah.
Heal us, Obama. Well, this has been another Audio Mullet. I'm Doug TeNapel. That's Ethan Nicole. Like it, review us, tell your friends about us.
Yeah, please review us. It helps a lot on iTunes.
Yeah, review us. Mostly with 5-star.
Yeah.
11.5-star reviews.
Indeed.
This has been Audio Mullet.
Audio Mullet. A mullet of audio smashing you in the face. Audio Mullet. Short and front, long and back, it's a fact.